So how do you plan to go to Alaska? Well, there's multiple ways. Honestly, the first thing we did was we watched other YouTubers that have been there before. We went to Less Junk No Journey, Keep Your Daydream, Traveling Robert, just to name a few. We watched all those videos of their Alaska trips, plus other ones that I can't think off the top of my head right now, and marked down on a piece of paper all the places that we wanted to see. And our first thing we had to do after we did that was decide, do we want to make reservations along the way? Do we want to just rough it and boondock or dry camp? And we decided, after quite a bit, original thought was just make a few reservations and dry camp the rest of the way, because our camper's set up completely for solar, it's dry camping. But because we are a little older and there's no guarantee that we can make it back to Alaska again, this isn't our first trip, it's our first trip in the RV. We did go on a cruise once, but we're not 100% sure that we would make it back in the RV. We wanted to do everything possible on our bucket list. So because of that, we ended up making reservations, and mainly reservations. Now, on the way out, we are stopping at Crackle Barrels, Walmarts, some casinos, and some other dry camping areas. But for the most part, on the trip, we do have reservations. Now, just because we have reservation doesn't mean that we don't need our solar, because some of the places we have reservations don't have electricity. So that's something else that you have to watch. And if you're planning on staying in Canada, like we are going to spend 3 weeks in Canada. If you go to Banff, I think it's called Banff, Jasper, and those areas, you have to make reservations on the day that they open if you're going over a time period when they're busy. So that all had to be taken into consideration. So that's your first, really, your second step. I would say the first thing is watch other YouTubers, see where they go, pick out your places that you want to go, and then determine from that what type of camping you plan on doing. Then every one of them said to get this, the milepost. Now, the milepost really helps you when you're actually traveling there, but we used it even to help figure out what we wanted to see when we got to those certain areas. So, like, I knew I wanted to go to Banff, and I knew a couple places that I seen from other YouTubers, but not a lot of YouTubers spend very much time there. So the milepost actually listed some areas in here that were like, hey, I'm going to go see that. And we actually made some reservations in advance, because the time that we're there is right after Memorial Day weekend, and that could be really busy. It's not exactly after Memorial Day weekend, but it's sometime in that period. So for that reason, it really helped. But they say the milepost is the most useful when you're actually traveling in Alaska. The next thing I did was I used my Allstate app. So there is my Allstate app right there. You can see it. And you click on it, and it opens up. And then up here, you just type in where you want to go. So let's say we want to go to Glacier. Glacier, and it'll say, give me options, and I got Glacier National Park. So, and you can see all these dots, and there's all kinds of things you can do with it. So if you go over here, you click this little button that filters, and you can just put, like, I want independent, KOA, let's pick public lands, national wildlife, state. Okay, so if I go over here, I can find St. Mary's. It gives me a KOA, and it gives me 2 other parks. And if I click on it, it'll tell me the name of it. This one's Johnson's of St. Mary's Campground, and a description, which I did. And there you go. It gives it a rating. It's only a 3 stars compared to people. It says it's pricey, and then it'll say a little bit more information. Up and say. So that's how that works. And then I said I had another app that's called Road Trippers. So here's the Road Trippers app. I don't know if you can see it, but when you click on it, it'll open up. Not now, I don't want to enjoy it. And and it'll come up with ideas that you can stay at. But I can go down to my profile and it'll bring up the 2 that I have picked. So I had one set for a Walt Disney trip, and that was the Walt Disney trip I just went on this fall. And it'll say Bass Pro Shop. I'm going to stay there. I'm going to go to Manatee Springs, and then I'm going to go to Ross Prairie, and then Paynes, and then River Rise, and Blue Springs, and Silver Springs, and then the Disney. And then I want to view it on the map. This showed me my whole map, how many miles, everything I wanted to go. So this is just one example. I also did it for Florida, for Alaska. So I just go back to my profile. I'm going to click on Alaska. As I put in every single little spot that I want to stop at along the way. All the way. So we're leaving on the 22nd of May, and we're not coming back until September 11th. However, we are spending 3 weeks in Canada, and we're spending a week in the Black Hills, South Dakota, and 3 days in North Dakota before we even enter Canada. So basically a month before we get to Alaska. And then if I want to look at it on the map, it brings up the map. And it literally shows the entire route. These little red dots are saying that the road is not RV safety options, unsupported for some of or all of the route. It's just telling me that the route is rough, or right now it may be snow covered. It's mainly where you go here into Alberta and then up the ice road. And then this is the Alaskan Highway. And all of Alaska, except for once you entered Yukon, and you actually entered all of Canada, is red, until you enter Alaska. And then Alaska's blue again. So it's mainly Canadian part is red. And it's just questioning. And it maps out the entire thing. And I can print this off as we take it. And it tells me my mileage. So I know that we can do this in 1 day. Now, do I have buffers in there? Yes. Because, things don't always go as planned. So we have rest days. Not always every single day. So most of the days we're traveling about 5 hours to 4 hours, sometimes 6 hours. And why that is so that in case a day that something happens and we can't make it to that spot, we have a gap that we can make it up. And then as we go through where we stay at one place for maybe a week at a time, we have 1 or 2 rest days so that we can push things around. So that's why we were able to do reservations. And one of the main reasons why we did reservations is once we started doing our bucket list items, we noticed that we had 3 flights. We're going to go to, is it Sitka? How do you say it? S-I-K?
Sitka.
Sitka. And then the bear, the one where all the bears are, Brooks Camp. We got a seaplane. We actually have a plane that goes into the place first, and then you get on the seaplane. And then we have a 3rd trip to another place where you see a bunch of the bear, Kishana or something like that, island. And then we have a fishing trip that we planned ahead of time because we wanted to make sure that we could get in. Now, could it be rained out? Yep. And then we have another trip where we're going to go, because we're taking the kayaks. So we had to plan all this stuff in advance. So if any of this helps you, I hope it does. The milepost, they put the new one out usually in March of every year. And it'll have like where you can stop, where you can't stop. It actually has some dry stops in it where you can, boondock or dry camp. And it has about each one of the cities, some of the campgrounds, some of the attractions. So hopefully you do a little bit of planning. Now, some people don't plan at all. They just go for it. But because we had so many things that we really wanted to see, that's why we did so much planning. But I hope this helps. I hope you enjoyed this video, how we're doing our planning for Alaska. If you have any helpful hints, let us know. If you've been to Alaska and I haven't mentioned something that would be helpful for these people that haven't been there to use the plan, please put that in the comment section so they can also benefit from your knowledge. Thank you. Have a great day. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Give us a like if you like this video. And have a great day.